I need to share this message right now because my guides have been absolutely persistent all morning about reaching out to a specific divine feminine who's really going through it at the moment. If you're feeling drawn to this reading, there's a reason. Trust that pull. I'm deeply sensing you've been walking through what feels like the darkest time of your life lately. You've been waking up in the middle of the night, maybe around 3 a.m., with this heavy feeling in your chest. During the day, you're going through the motions, doing what needs to be done, but inside, there's this emptiness, this feeling that something's missing. And no matter who you talk to, no one seems to really get it. What's really interesting is that your guides are showing me that this darkness isn't what you think it is. They're actually saying this isolation, this feeling of being lost, it's exactly where you're meant to be right now. I know that might sound strange, but stay with me here. You see, they're showing me that you've been seeing numbers everywhere, especially 111 or 333. Maybe you've been brushing these off as coincidence, but they're actually signposts. I'm being shown so clearly that you're standing at the edge of something huge. Your guides are practically shouting that you're about to step into a completely new chapter of your life. But, and this is really important, you need to trust yourself in a way you never have before. They're showing me that you've been having these gut feelings, these little nudges about what to do next, but you've been second guessing yourself because honestly, these feelings don't make logical sense. The energy around you is so powerful right now. I'm feeling a strong pull to the moon card, which is really significant because just last week in another reading, we saw the 8 of Cups come up for the collective. The connection between these cards is really speaking to what you're going through. There's this deep intuitive knowledge trying to surface in your life. And while it might feel scary or uncertain, your guides are saying this is absolutely vital for your next steps. I'm getting such strong chills because they're showing me that all these weird coincidences you've been experiencing lately, the random conversations that seem meaningful, the songs that keep playing at just the right moment, they're all part of a bigger message they're trying to send you. Your soul has been crying out for direction, and they want you to know they've heard you. Right now, I'm being flooded with this message about relationships in your life that have been feeling really strange lately. Some connections that used to feel so solid now feel kind of draining. And there are maybe 1 or 2 people who have suddenly shown up in your life who feel weirdly familiar, even though you barely know them. This is all part of what's unfolding. The energy here is literally buzzing with how important this message is for someone. Your guides are being really clear that while this uncertainty feels overwhelming, it's actually preparing you for something so much bigger than you can imagine right now. They're showing me that you're being positioned for a major shift in your life path, especially around your true purpose and leadership abilities that you might not even recognize in yourself yet. I need to share more about what they're showing me regarding these signs and synchronicities because this feels incredibly urgent and specific for someone watching. What's really fascinating is that as I'm tuning into these synchronicities more deeply, I'm seeing something so significant with the Queen of Pentacles emerging in your energy right now. This is such a powerful confirmation of everything we've been talking about. You see, while you've been feeling lost in this darkness, you've actually been developing this incredible foundation of wisdom that you couldn't see before. I'm feeling so strongly that you've been finding little signs of abundance lately, maybe coins in unexpected places or small gifts showing up when you least expect them. These aren't just random occurrences. Your guides are showing me that these are like breadcrumbs leading you toward this Queen of Pentacles energy that's awakening within you. This queen, she's not just about material success. She's about this deep, earthy wisdom that comes from going through exactly what you've been experiencing. What's really interesting is how this connects back to the moon card we saw earlier. You've been walking through this moonlit path where everything feels uncertain, but what your guides are showing me is that this uncertainty has actually been teaching you to trust yourself in a whole new way. They're showing me that you've probably been feeling this really strong urge lately to reorganize your space, to clear things out. Maybe you've even been drawn to taking care of plants or cooking more. These nurturing activities that somehow feel really important right now. I'm getting such strong chills because they're showing me that all those times you felt misunderstood, all those experiences where you felt like you didn't quite fit in, they were actually preparing you for this role you're stepping into now. You're naturally positioned as this wisdom keeper, this person who others are starting to turn to for guidance, even if you don't fully see it yet. There's something really beautiful happening with your energy right now. It's like watching someone who's been fumbling in a dark room suddenly starting to make out the shapes around them. The Queen of Pentacles is showing me that you're actually moving from being the seeker to becoming the finder. People are starting to recognize something in you, this deep wisdom that you maybe haven't even fully acknowledged in yourself yet. Your guides are being really clear about something. They're showing me that you're becoming this sort of cornerstone in your family or community. It might not be in an obvious way, but people are starting to rely on your stability, your practical wisdom. They're drawn to your energy even if they can't explain why. And here's what's really interesting. Remember those moments of isolation we talked about? They were actually creating this sacred space for you to develop this wisdom without interference. I'm seeing really clearly that you need to start documenting these moments of validation that are coming your way. Keep track of those times when someone tells you that you've helped them see something differently, or when you have those moments of sudden clarity about a situation. These aren't just random occurrences. They're confirmation that you're stepping into this Queen of Pentacles energy in exactly the right way. The energy around you is shifting so powerfully right now. While before it felt like you were drowning in uncertainty, now it's more like you're learning to swim with the current. Your guides are showing me that this transition isn't just about you finding your way. It's about you becoming a guide for others who are still finding their way through their own darkness. And what's really powerful is that right as I'm tuning into that guiding energy you're stepping into, the Tower card comes through so strongly. Now, I know the Tower can seem scary at first, but what your guides are showing me is that these sudden changes you've been experiencing, they're not random chaos. They're actually divine interventions breaking down the walls that were keeping you from seeing your true power. I can sense that lately things have felt like they're falling apart in some ways. Maybe technology keeps breaking down around you, or plans keep getting disrupted, or relationships are suddenly shifting. Your guides want you to know that this isn't a punishment. It's preparation. They keep showing me this image of a butterfly emerging from its cocoon. The breaking down of the cocoon might look destructive, but it's completely necessary for the butterfly to emerge in its full beauty. This tower moment is actually perfectly aligned with what we were seeing in the moon card earlier. You've been walking through this period of uncertainty, yes, but now the tower is coming in to illuminate everything with this flash of lightning. It's like all those intuitive hits you've been getting, all those gut feelings, they're being validated through these sudden revelations. I'm feeling such strong energy around the Eight of Cups too. This card is showing up to confirm that all those times you felt called to walk away from situations or relationships that no longer served you, that wasn't you being flaky or uncommitted. You were actually following a higher calling. Your guides are showing me that each time you chose to walk away from something that felt off, you were actually walking toward your true purpose. There's something really fascinating happening with the timing here. These cards together, the Tower, the Moon we saw earlier, and this Eight of Cups, they're creating this story of transformation. But it's not just about leaving things behind. With the Queen of Pentacles energy we were discussing, it's about becoming this grounded wisdom keeper. Your guides are showing me that all these disruptions are actually clearing space for you to step fully into this role. I'm seeing really clearly that you've been having these moments where you suddenly know exactly what to say to help someone, even if you've never experienced their situation yourself, or times when you just know something is about to happen before it does. These aren't coincidences. They're signs of your intuitive gifts strengthening. The very doubt and confusion you've been feeling has actually been making your inner guidance system stronger. You know what's really interesting? Your guides are showing me that this feeling of being drained lately isn't just regular tiredness. It's actually a sign of this massive energy upgrade you're going through. It's like your spiritual circuits are being rewired to handle this new level of wisdom and insight you're stepping into. They're showing me that when you feel this tiredness, it's super important to honor it. It's literally your spiritual growth requiring rest to integrate. The Tower energy is really highlighting how you're being called to trust these sudden urges to change things in your life, whether it's rearranging your space, changing your daily routines, or even letting go of relationships that once felt essential. These aren't random impulses. They're your higher self creating space for this new version of you that's emerging. And right now, as I'm sitting with this Tower energy, I'm being drawn to pull another card for deeper clarity about what this transformation is leading to. The Ace of Swords just flew out of the deck. And wow, this is such powerful confirmation of everything we've been discussing. This sword is cutting through all the confusion and uncertainty you've been feeling, especially during those late night moments when you find yourself wide awake, questioning everything. You know those times when you're up at 3:33 a.m. or keep seeing 111 everywhere you go. Your guides are showing me that these aren't just random occurrences. They're actually signposts marking the path of your awakening. This Ace of Swords is showing me that all the mental fog you've been experiencing, it's actually been protecting you, keeping you from seeing too much too soon while your spirit builds the strength to handle these truths. I'm getting such a strong message that someone specific is thinking about you during this transition. They might not have reached out yet, but they're sensing your energy shift. What's really interesting is that the Ace of Swords is connecting back to that moon energy we saw earlier. It's like all those shadows and uncertainties are actually holding the seeds of your greatest wisdom. Your guides are showing me this really beautiful image. It's like you're this lighthouse in the making. All this confusion and doubt you've been feeling, it's actually crafting you into someone who can guide others through their own dark times. I'm seeing people coming to you for advice more and more lately, maybe catching you off guard with how much they trust your insight. This isn't a coincidence. It's a preview of your emerging role as a natural guardian and wisdom keeper. You might have been feeling this urge lately to clean out your space, organize things, maybe even completely rearrange your home. Your dreams are probably getting more vivid too, filled with symbols and messages that stick with you throughout the day. These are all signs that you're preparing to step into this bigger role. The Ace of Swords is clearing away any remaining doubts about your path. What's really fascinating is how your current feelings of weakness or uncertainty are actually transforming into your greatest strengths. Your guides are showing me that it's exactly because you've walked through these shadows that you'll be able to help others find their way. Each moment of confusion you've faced has been like a lesson, teaching you the exact wisdom someone else will need later. I'm seeing this really powerful image of you standing in your power, but it's not the kind of power that comes from never having struggled. It's the kind that comes from having walked through the darkness and learned its secrets. Your guides are showing me that this period of feeling isolated or separate from others isn't a punishment. It's sacred preparation time. They're literally crafting you into someone who can hold space for others' transformations. This Ace of Swords is bringing such clarity about the timing of all this too. What feels like delays or setbacks are actually perfectly orchestrated moments of protection and preparation. You're not just learning for yourself, you're gathering wisdom that will help light the way for others who are just beginning their own journeys. And the way that your guides are showing me this wisdom being built, it's like watching a master craftsperson at work. The Three of Pentacles just appeared in our spread, and this is such beautiful confirmation of everything we've been discussing. This card is all about divine teamwork, about you working hand in hand with your spiritual guides to build something truly meaningful. You know how lately you might find yourself saying exactly what someone needs to hear, almost like the words are coming through you rather than from you. Maybe you're at the grocery store and suddenly the cashier starts telling you their life story, or a friend calls you in tears and you somehow know exactly what to say. These aren't random events. They're actually practice runs. Little training sessions your guides are setting up to help you step into your role as a wisdom keeper. I'm feeling such strong energy around this need for quiet time you've been experiencing lately. Maybe you've been feeling guilty about it, like you should be more social or more available to others. But what I'm seeing with this Three of Pentacles energy is that this alone time is actually sacred training ground. It's like you're in a spiritual apprenticeship, learning skills you'll need for your future role. Your guides are showing me that you might be feeling extra tired after being around people lately. maybe even getting headaches or feeling drained. This isn't because there's anything wrong. It's actually because your energy sensitivity is increasing. You're becoming more attuned to the feelings and needs of others, which is a crucial part of your spiritual toolbox. I'm getting such a clear message about the patterns you've been noticing in other people's lives. Maybe you've started to see how different people's struggles connect, or you're picking up on themes in the problems people bring to you. This is your wisdom keeper abilities developing, showing you the deeper threads that connect all our experiences. The Three of Pentacles is really highlighting how this time of feeling lost or confused isn't a detour. It's actually perfect divine training. Each challenge you face right now is like a lesson in your spiritual curriculum. When you feel overwhelmed by others' emotions, you're learning boundaries. When you need extra quiet time, you're learning to honor your own energy. When people randomly share their problems with you, you're learning to hold space for others' pain. Your guides want you to know that this feeling of being set apart or different from others isn't a punishment. It's protection. They're creating a sacred space around you where you can develop these gifts safely. It's like being in a spiritual cocoon where what feels like darkness is actually transformation happening. They're showing me that all these experiences, the late night revelations, the sudden urges to clean and organize, the random people seeking your advice, they're all pieces of your training. And I'm seeing so clearly now how this training you've been going through is leading to something even bigger. The strength card just appeared in our spread, and wow, the energy shift in the room is incredible. This isn't the kind of strength that comes from forcing things or pushing harder. No, this is that gentle, quiet kind of strength, like how a mother can stay calm during chaos, or how a teacher knows just when to be firm and when to be gentle. You know those moments when you've been doubting yourself lately, maybe feeling like you're too sensitive, too affected by everything around you? Spirit is showing me that this sensitivity isn't a weakness at all. It's actually your superpower in disguise. The Strength card is really emphasizing this. It's like watching a beautiful transformation where what you thought was holding you back is actually setting you free. I'm getting such strong chills right now because I can feel your guides showing me how you've been practicing this strength without even realizing it. Like when you find yourself staying steady while everyone else is panicking, or when you somehow know exactly what someone needs before they even say it. These aren't coincidences. They're proof of your growing spiritual muscles. You might have noticed lately that people are starting to look to you differently. Maybe friends are calling more often for advice, or strangers are opening up to you about their problems. I'm seeing this really clearly. It's like you're becoming this lighthouse in the dark for others, but you might not even realize it yet because you're still adjusting to your own light. The Strength card is actually building on what the Moon card showed us earlier. Remember how we talked about navigating through uncertainty? Well, now I'm seeing how all that confusion and darkness you've been walking through wasn't just random. It was literally training you to be a guide for others. It's like you had to learn the path through the dark so you could help others find their way. I'm getting this really specific message about physical sensations around your heart area. Some of you might be feeling pressure or warmth there, especially when you're trying to help someone or when you're processing heavy emotions. This isn't something to worry about. It's actually your heart chakra expanding, creating more space for this natural leadership energy that's developing. The Queen of Pentacles energy we saw earlier is weaving together so beautifully with this Strength card. It's showing me that your natural nurturing abilities are evolving into something bigger. It's like you're being upgraded from caring for a few people to having the capacity to hold space for many. You're learning how to maintain your energy while supporting others, how to give wisdom without depleting yourself. Your guides want you to know that these overwhelming feelings you've been having when you can sense everyone's emotions in a room, or when you just know something's wrong with someone before they tell you, this isn't too much for you to handle. You're being carefully prepared to carry this sensitivity, to use it as a tool for healing and guidance. Every time you feel overloaded, you're actually building up your spiritual stamina, learning how to handle these increased energetic abilities. And you know what's so beautiful about this spiritual training you've been going through? The Sun card just showed up in our spread, and I literally got goosebumps because it's showing me how all those dark moments we were just talking about are leading to this incredible breakthrough. It's like when you've been in a dark room for so long and suddenly someone opens the curtains. At first, it might feel overwhelming, but then you realize how much beauty you can finally see. I need to pause for a moment because I'm getting hit with this really strong message about coins and feathers. Has anyone been finding these in really weird places lately? Like, maybe you're cleaning a spot you always clean and suddenly there's a coin that wasn't there before, or you keep seeing feathers in places that don't make sense. Your guides are using these as little winks, little signs to let you know they've been with you through all of this darkness. The Sun card is actually completing this beautiful story that started with the Moon card we saw earlier. Remember how we talked about all that confusion and uncertainty? Well, now I'm seeing how that Moon energy, all that intuition and deep emotional work you've been doing, it wasn't just random. It was like spiritual night school, if that makes sense. You were learning things in the dark that you could never learn in the light. I'm getting such a clear vision right now of someone who's been getting these really strong urges to clean out their space, maybe reorganize everything. If that's you, pay attention, because this is actually a physical sign of the spiritual transformation you're going through. It's like your outer world is trying to match all the inner clearing you've been doing. The Tower card we saw earlier makes so much more sense now too. You know how sometimes you have to tear down an old building to build something better? That's exactly what's been happening in your life. But here's the thing, and I'm getting chills again. You're not just building back any old structure. You're creating this beautiful spiritual lighthouse, and all those challenges you went through, they're becoming your teaching tools. I'm seeing really clearly that some of you have been having these super vivid dreams lately. They might even feel prophetic, like you're getting messages while you sleep. Trust this. This is your intuition leveling up, getting stronger. It's like your spirit guides are using your dream time to download all this ancient wisdom into you. You might have noticed lately that when your phone or computer glitches, it often happens right when you're having an important realization or when someone's sharing something deep with you. This isn't a coincidence. Your energy is getting so powerful that it's actually affecting the technology around you. This is a really common sign of spiritual awakening that people don't talk about enough. The Strength card is showing up again, but this time It's different. It's like it's glowing with this soft golden light from the sun card. This combination is showing me that you're not just developing inner strength anymore. You're becoming this gentle but powerful guide for others. It's like you went through the dark night of the soul so you could help others find their way through their own darkness. Your guides are really emphasizing this point about documenting things. If you haven't started keeping track of all these signs and synchronicities you're seeing, now is the time to start. I keep seeing numbers like repeated sequences showing up on clocks, receipts, phone numbers. These aren't random. They're like little breadcrumbs leading you toward your purpose. And speaking of breadcrumbs and signs, I need to pause for a moment because the energy just shifted so powerfully. The King of Cups just appeared in our spread right next to that Queen of Pentacles we saw earlier, and I'm getting such strong chills. This is such a beautiful confirmation of everything we've been talking about. You know how sometimes you feel almost too much, like you can walk into a room and instantly know who's upset or who needs help, even if they're trying to hide it. I need you to know something really important. This isn't a burden, even though it might feel that way sometimes. The King of Cups is showing me that this sensitivity of yours, this ability to feel deeply, it's actually your superpower. I'm seeing someone who's been feeling really overwhelmed lately, maybe even hiding away from people because it's just too much to handle all these emotions. If that's you, your guides want you to know that this isolation period isn't a punishment. It's like emotional training camp. You're learning to master these feelings, not just survive them. Something really interesting is happening with these cards. Remember that moon card we pulled earlier? Now with the King of Cups showing up, it's like watching someone graduate from student to teacher. Your guides are showing me that all those times you felt lost in the dark, all those moments when you felt like you were drowning in emotions, that wasn't just random suffering. You were learning the language of feelings so you could help others understand their own emotions. I keep seeing this image of someone sitting with a friend, and without even trying, you just know exactly what they need to hear. Has this been happening to you? Like people just naturally start telling you their problems, maybe even strangers? This isn't a coincidence. The King of Cups paired with our earlier Queen of Pentacles is showing me that you're being shaped into this amazing emotional guide. But here's the thing, and your guides are really emphasizing this. You need to create some boundaries. I'm seeing someone who gives and gives until they're completely drained. The King of Cups isn't just about feeling emotions. It's about mastering them. Think of it like being a swimming instructor. You need to know how to swim yourself before you can teach others, and you definitely can't help anyone if you're drowning. I'm getting this really strong message about morning rituals. Have you been feeling pulled to start your day differently? Maybe meditation or journaling. Your guides are showing me that these quiet morning moments are going to be super important for processing all the emotional energy you deal with. It's like creating a spiritual shield before you start your day. The way these cards are connecting, it's showing me this beautiful transformation. You're moving from someone who feels overwhelmed by their emotional sensitivity to someone who can use it as a gift to help others. But, and I need to emphasize this, you have to take care of yourself first. You're not just a channel for others' emotions, you're a sacred keeper of wisdom. And speaking of being a sacred keeper of wisdom, I'm seeing the high priestess coming through so strongly right now. She's appearing at such a perfect moment, right as we were talking about your emotional mastery. This isn't just random timing. Your guides are really emphasizing something important here. You know those moments when you just know something without knowing how you know it. Maybe you've been getting strong feelings about people or situations, but you've been pushing them aside because they don't make logical sense. The high priestess is telling me that those hunches, those gut feelings you've been having, they're actually messages from your higher self. I'm getting such strong chills right now because I can see how all of these cards are telling a story. Remember the moon card we saw earlier? That darkness you've been walking through, all those times you felt lost and confused. It wasn't just random struggle. It was actually preparing you to access this deeper wisdom the high priestess represents. It's like your spiritual sight got stronger because you had to learn to see in the dark. I need to pause for a moment because I'm getting such a clear message. Have you been waking up at specific times lately, like 3:33 or 1:11? Your guides are showing me that these aren't just coincidences. They're trying to get your attention, trying to remind you that you're being watched over and guided, even when you feel most alone. And something else is coming through so strongly, this feeling about your possessions. Have you suddenly felt the urge to clean out your closet or get rid of old stuff? This isn't just spring cleaning energy. The high priestess is showing me that you're actually clearing space, not just physical space, but spiritual space. You're making room for this new wisdom that's trying to come through. I keep seeing this image of someone sitting alone, maybe in their bedroom or a quiet space, and they're feeling these waves of emotion that don't seem to belong to them. If this is you, your guides want you to know that you're not crazy. You're actually picking up on other people's energies. Remember that sun card we saw earlier, that light that's breaking through? It's illuminating these gifts you've always had, but maybe didn't fully understand. The high priestess is really emphasizing this next part. You need to start keeping track of these intuitive hits you're getting. When you think of someone and they call, when you have a strong feeling about a situation and it turns out to be right, these aren't coincidences. They're your inner wisdom getting stronger, becoming more clear. And here's something really interesting. I'm seeing someone who's been giving advice to friends lately, maybe even strangers, and afterward thinking, where did that come from? How did I know to say that? That's your natural gift as a spiritual guide starting to emerge. All those emotions you've had to process, all that sensitivity you've sometimes wished you didn't have, it's actually been preparing you to help others find their way through their own darkness. But the high priestess has one more really important message. You don't need to prove these gifts to anyone. Your inner knowing, your intuition, it's sacred. It's between you and your higher self. Some people might not understand, and that's okay. What matters is that you're starting to understand yourself. And what's really amazing is how perfectly the Hierophant is appearing right now, building on everything the High Priestess was showing us. You know, sometimes when I see this card, I get this feeling of traditional teaching, like someone standing at the front of a classroom. But what I'm getting for you is so different. It's like you're becoming this natural guide, but in the most authentic way possible. I'm getting such a strong message about something that's probably been happening to you lately. Have you noticed people just naturally opening up to you? Maybe even strangers telling you their life stories? It's like they sense this safe, wise energy around you. The funny thing is, you might not even realize you're doing it, but when you speak to these people, the words just flow through you. It's like sometimes you hear yourself giving advice and think, where did that even come from? The Hierophant is showing me that all those difficult emotions we saw with the King of Cups earlier, all that sensitivity that sometimes felt like too much to bear, it wasn't a burden. It was actually training. Think about it, because you've felt things so deeply, because you've had to learn to navigate your own emotional storms. You can now help others find their way through theirs. I'm getting a really specific message right now. Someone might have recently told you that you helped them see something in a completely new way. Maybe you didn't even think what you said was that special, but to them, it was exactly what they needed to hear. That's this Hierophant energy working through you. But here's something really important your guides want you to know. You don't have to have all the answers. I keep hearing this phrase, you don't need to be perfect to be profound. Your wisdom comes from your experience, from your heart, from all those moments in the darkness we saw with the moon card earlier. That's actually what makes your guidance so powerful. It's real. It's lived. It's authentic. I'm seeing something interesting, like flashes of you maybe doubting yourself or thinking, who am I to give advice? But that's exactly what makes you perfect for this role. You're not coming from a place of, I know everything. You're coming from a place of, I've been there. I understand, and I can hold space for you while you figure it out. You might also be noticing that you're becoming more protective of your energy lately. Maybe you're feeling the need to spend more time alone, to process, to reflect. The Hierophant is showing me that this isn't just introversion. It's actually part of your spiritual training. You need that quiet time to integrate all the wisdom that's coming through you. There's something else coming through so strongly. Dreams. Have you been having really vivid dreams lately? Maybe ones where you're teaching or helping others, or maybe you're finding yourself in situations where you're explaining spiritual concepts to people and surprising yourself with how naturally it flows. Your guides are showing me that this is all part of your awakening as a wisdom keeper. And you know what's so powerful about these teaching dreams we're seeing? They're actually preparing you for this next phase that's coming through so strongly with the Emperor card that just appeared. When this card shows up in this crown position, it's really talking about stepping into this amazing leadership energy, but not in that forceful way some people might think of with the Emperor. No, this is about becoming this steady rock, this wisdom keeper that others naturally turn to. I'm feeling such a shift in the energy right now, where before we were seeing all this internal work with the High Priestess and that emotional mastery with the King of Cups. Now it's like everything is clicking into place. You've been doing all this inner work, maybe feeling like you were just trying to keep your head above water sometimes, but actually you were building this incredible foundation of wisdom. I'm getting this really clear message about your living space too. Have you been feeling this sudden urge to clean everything out? Maybe reorganize things or get rid of stuff that just doesn't feel right anymore? Your guides are showing me that this isn't just spring cleaning energy. It's actually a physical sign of this bigger shift happening in your life. You're literally making space for this new role you're stepping into. The Emperor here is showing me something really interesting about patterns. Like you've started noticing how different people in your life are going through similar lessons, and you can see the connections that they can't see yet. That's not a coincidence. It's actually part of your gift, this ability to see the bigger picture and help others make sense of their journey. I keep seeing the number sequence 4484 coming through really strongly. If you've been seeing this number everywhere, it's a huge confirmation that you're on the right path. It's like a divine thumbs up telling you that yes, you are meant to be stepping into this leadership role, even if it feels scary or unexpected. You know what's really fascinating? The Emperor is actually building on all the emotional wisdom we saw earlier with the King of Cups. It's like you had to learn to master your own emotions first to understand your own depths before you could help others navigate theirs. But now, instead of feeling overwhelmed by all that sensitivity, you're learning to use it as this amazing tool for guidance. I'm getting this really clear message about timing too. Like you might be feeling this pull to make some big changes in your life, maybe even thinking about shifting your career or the direction you're heading in. The Emperor is showing me that this isn't just random restlessness. This is actually divine timing at work. You're being positioned for something bigger. And there's something else coming through so strongly, this unexpected mentor or guide that's going to appear in your life soon. It's like they're going to help you see how all these pieces fit together, how all your natural abilities, the way you solve problems, the way you understand people, they're actually spiritual gifts that you're meant to use to help others. I'm seeing this beautiful image of you becoming like this cornerstone in your community or family, not because you're trying to be, but because people just naturally sense that steady, wise energy you carry. It's like you're becoming this safe harbor for others, but in a way that doesn't drain you because you've learned how to balance that sensitivity with strength. The Emperor is really emphasizing this message about boundaries too, because as you step more into this leadership role, as more people start coming to you for guidance, it's going to be so important to maintain that balance, to know when to give and when to step back and recharge. Your guides are showing me that this is actually going to be one of your most important lessons. Learning how to share your wisdom while still honoring your own energy. And speaking of honoring your energy, I'm being guided to pull another card here because there's something really important coming through about recognition and how you're going to be supported through this transition. The Six of Wands just came forward and wow, this is such beautiful confirmation of everything we've been talking about. This card is showing me that all this inner work you've been doing, all those moments where you felt like you were just stumbling around in the dark trying to figure things out, it's all about to pay off in such a beautiful way. You know how sometimes when you're going through something really hard, it feels like it's never going to end, but I'm seeing this beautiful image of you emerging from this dark cocoon period. The Six of Wands is really highlighting this victory energy, but it's not just about external success. It's deeper than that. It's about you finally being seen and recognized for who you truly are at your core. I'm getting such a strong message about your creative energy too. Have you been feeling these sudden urges to create something, to express yourself in new ways, maybe through writing or art, or even just rearranging your space? Your guides are showing me that these creative impulses are actually part of your spiritual awakening. They're like little doorways opening up, letting your wisdom flow out in different ways. There's something really interesting happening with your dreams lately too. I keep seeing this image of you waking up between 3 and 4 in the morning with these really clear insights. If this has been happening to you, your guides want you to know this isn't just random insomnia. These are actually sacred downloading times. They're asking you to keep a notebook by your bed because some of these messages are going to be really important, not just for you, but for others too. The Six of Wands is really emphasizing this theme of natural leadership, but it's showing up in such an interesting way. It's like people are already starting to come to you for advice without you even trying to be in that role. Have you noticed lately that people seem to just open up to you? Maybe even saying things like, I've never told anyone this before. That's because they can sense this deep wisdom you're carrying. I'm also getting this really clear message about feeling drained after helping others. This is actually a sign that you're stepping into your role as a spiritual anchor, but you haven't quite figured out how to protect your energy yet. Your guides are showing me this beautiful blue light around you. They want you to imagine this light as a protective shield whenever you're helping others. It's not about blocking people out, but about creating healthy boundaries so you can continue to serve without depleting yourself. The combination of cards we've seen, the High Priestess, the Emperor, the 8 of Cups, and now this 6 of Wands, they're telling such a powerful story about your journey. It's like you've been moving through the sacred initiation period. All that time you spent feeling isolated or confused wasn't a punishment. It was actually divine protection, giving you the space you needed to develop these incredible gifts you're now starting to step into. And you know what's so beautiful about this journey you've been on? The way these cards are coming together is showing me that everything, even those moments where you felt completely lost, was preparing you for something bigger. Let me pull another card to get more clarity on exactly what this means for you right now. I'm seeing the 2 of Pentacles come forward, and wow, this is such perfect timing. This 2 of Pentacles is really speaking to where you're at right now. You might be feeling like you're trying to juggle so many different parts of your life, your everyday responsibilities, this growing spiritual awareness, maybe even feeling pulled to help others while still trying to take care of yourself. I'm getting such a strong message that this balancing act isn't meant to overwhelm you. It's actually showing you how capable you really are. You know, it's funny. As I'm sitting with this energy, I keep seeing this image of someone who used to struggle to say no to people, always putting everyone else first. But lately, something's shifted, hasn't it? You're starting to realize that taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. The 2 of Pentacles paired with all these powerful cards we've seen, the High Priestess, the King of Cups, the Emperor. It's like watching your spiritual evolution unfold right here on the table. I'm getting such strong chills right now because your guides are showing me something really important. Have you been noticing the numbers 333 or 777 lately? Maybe on clocks, license plates, or receipts? These aren't just random coincidences. They're like little winks from the universe confirming that you're exactly where you need to be. And there's something else coming through so strongly, this feeling about your home space. Have you suddenly felt this urge to rearrange things, to create a special corner for meditation or reflection? Your guides are showing me that this isn't just about decorating. You're actually creating a sacred space for the work you're meant to do. I keep hearing this message. The darkness you walked through wasn't punishment. It was preparation. All those times you felt alone, all those experiences that seemed so hard to understand, they were actually giving you the wisdom you need to help others now. People are starting to notice this about you, aren't they? Maybe they've been coming to you for advice more often or telling you that you just seem different somehow. You might have noticed this warmth in your heart area when you're listening to someone's problems, or this knowing about exactly what to say to help them. That's not a coincidence. It's your empathic abilities growing stronger. But remember, with the Two of Pentacles here, it's so important to balance this gift of helping others with taking care of yourself. I'm seeing this really powerful image of you standing at a doorway, but it's not like you're waiting to walk through it anymore. You're actually holding the door open for others. This is such a beautiful shift from being the seeker to becoming the guide. But your guides want you to know that you don't have to have everything figured out to be of service. Sometimes the most powerful teaching comes from sharing your own journey of figuring things out. And you know what's so beautiful about this moment you're in right now? Your guides are showing me this image of a butterfly emerging from its cocoon. But here's what's interesting. They're highlighting not just the butterfly, but the struggle of breaking free. That struggle you've been feeling, it wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Every tear, every moment of doubt, every time you felt lost in the dark, it was actually strengthening the exact gifts you'll need to help others. I'm getting such strong chills right now because there's this powerful energy of completion around you. Everything we've seen in these cards, the High Priestess showing your deep wisdom awakening, the Sun bringing divine illumination, and the Six of Wands revealing the victory ahead. They're all coming together to confirm what your guides have been trying to tell you. You're ready. You might have noticed lately that people are coming to you for advice without you even trying. Maybe you're waking up at specific times, like 3:33 or 1:11, or finding feathers in the most unexpected places. These aren't coincidences. They're confirmations. Your sensitivity to others' emotions, that thing you might have seen as a weakness, it's actually your superpower. I keep hearing this message so strongly. What you went through in darkness wasn't just for you. Your past experiences are being transformed into teaching tools. That's why you've been feeling this urge to create sacred space, to organize, to clear out the old. You're making room for what's coming, and what's coming is beautiful. You're moving from spiritual seeker to sage, from apprentice to master. It's like watching a candle realize it was meant to be a lighthouse all along. But here's what your guides want you to know. You don't have to have everything figured out to start sharing your light. Your journey, including its struggles, is exactly what qualifies you to help others. I feel so strongly that this reading is just the beginning of something much bigger for you. Your guides keep showing me more that wants to come through, especially about this leadership role that's emerging for you. If you're feeling called to explore this connection deeper, I do offer private readings through Patreon where we can really dive into your specific situation and the unique ways your gifts are meant to be shared. And if you want to stay connected to messages like these, make sure to subscribe. We're building such a beautiful soul family here. And I feel you're meant to be part of it. Remember, your sensitivity is your strength. Your past pain is becoming your wisdom. And you're exactly where you need to be, becoming exactly who you're meant to be. Trust that. Trust yourself. The light you've been seeking, it's always been within you. And now it's time to let it shine.